Tell me about the new guitar.
I've had the amazing fortune of working with Ibanez for more than 20 years now. And I started to think, why are my favorites my favorites? You know, what is it about the construction or the sound or the way they look that attracts me to these certain instruments? Why do I keep going back to these particular guitars for the stage or for studio? And I fortunately live pretty close to the custom shop, so I'd go down there and they gave me tools to take home and make measurements. Because I got really interested, one of the things I noticed was that the neck joint and the size of the neck and the shape of the neck was important, not only for playability, but for actually sustain and tone. And I found that big necks and big neck joints made a huge difference in how the guitar sounded. When I was thinking about making a new guitar, that was one of the things that I really wanted to do. I wanted to have a big neck joint and a big thick neck. And the other thing was I started to get pickier about all the little details. When you have a great guitar company making you guitars, it's easy to forget the details because you pick it up, it's great, you can forget about it. It just works. But I forced myself to really look, which frets do I really like? And, which kind of volume pot do I really like? And this and that, just all the details. And then I thought, okay, now that I've got all these details, it's time to assemble the ultimate guitar. And I began with sort of thinking, how far can I push the limits of taste and what Ibanez will want to build? And I began looking at the body styles. And one of my favorite Ibanez body styles is the Iceman. It was made famous by 70s stadium rockers. And I've had a couple Icemen over the years, and they're awesome sounding guitars. So, and also I had just become somewhat versed in the art of Photoshop on my computer. So I just went on the internet, found a good picture of an Iceman, threw it in Photoshop, and I thought, okay, what can I do to this? So I actually cut out just an outline of it. And that way I can put any kind of filling, any kind of wood grain, any kind of design under it. And I don't know why, but I guess maybe because Photoshop, it's easy to manipulate things because it's all just on your computer. And I tried flipping it upside down. So suddenly the big, long, phallic thruster that is the visual hallmark of the Iceman was on top. And functionally, that's useful because anytime you've got a really long upper horn, the guitar balances really well. That's the downfall of a flying V is because it doesn't have a long upper horn. The thing, if you let go of it, that the neck drops. And so I thought, this would work really well functionally. The only issue really is if you flip it upside down, suddenly there's no bottom cutaway. Again, Photoshop to the rescue. Just get out the erase tool, and I carefully made a cutaway so if the guitar ever existed in real life, you could get to the higher frets. Then I just started messing around with different woods. Again, I went on the internet and found some Carina, found some mahogany. Went to the DiMarzio website, pulled a couple pictures of pickups, put them on there, sized them, made a screwy-looking pickguard. Just tried all kinds of different knobs. Tried the headstock both ways, and I sort of felt good about this because if I had to have the Ibanez custom shop make every stage of as I got these ideas, we'd have 17 prototypes. And finally, I had, here it is, the finished thing. And I thought, they're never going to build this. This is just too strange. And I emailed it to Rob Nishida at Ibanez, and he almost immediately wrote me back like, that's really cool, we'll make one. The custom shop did such a stunning job in making it. It was almost like, the guitar almost wasn't new to me because it looked so much like the Photoshop picture I designed. It was, it just came to life. And the instrument itself is a stunning musical instrument. The first time I tested it out live was I actually sat in with Uli Roth, the legendary, original guitar player from the Scorpions. And again, I'd never played this guitar live before. I was doing Foxy Lady, a Hendrix tune, and the song's in F sharp. I hit an F sharp note, or bent up to one, and I could tell immediately, this note is going to last for as long as I want. And I let that note sustain for Nigel Tufnell, endless sustain amount of time. It just kept going. And when you do that, the room turns blue. And the hair stands up on your arms, and it's just, and you just feel like, this is what Uli Roth wants to hear from me. I can shred later. You know, this is really, you know, this is some sonic beauty, and that guitar is still, every time I pick it up, it has really stunning sustain. Another thing that was an experiment for me was, I've been a humbucker guy all my life, and the 3 pickup version of the Fireman was actually inspired by seeing a show with Frank Marino, who was one of my guitar heroes when I was a kid. I went to see him recently, and he had a guitar that you would associate as being a humbucker guitar. And he had 3 single coils in it, and it sounded amazing. And one of the pickups was angled. Of course, Frank plays right-handed, but it was angled sort of backwards as if it were a Hendrix guitar, you know, as if it were flipped over. And so when I was doing the Photoshop work, I copied Frank's angled, you know, backwards angle. And I took a look at it, and I thought, you know what, it would just look better if the others were parallel with it. So I made them all angled like that. And I don't know if it'd be, you know, it's a pretty subtle thing. I don't know if it really makes that much difference, but all I know is it sounds great, and it looks cool as well. I was pestering Steve Blucher, you know, the DiMarzio tech, for about 3 or 4 months. Steve really helped educate me to the art of the single coil. And they were, in my travels in learning about single coils, they were all great. They all had something beautiful about them. But the destination, the place I arrived, is the you know, the ultimate mix of clear, sparkly glassiness, but no trace of being harsh, and still working for the heavy, crunchy stuff, was actually something that he showed me for the first time at a NAMM show. It was the Area 67.
Area pickups.
And it was really the first hum canceling pickup that I sort of went, you know, this feels right.
Yeah,
this is not a compromise. This has got everything I want, and I don't have to deal with that hum.
It's a really, really good pickup, and an excellent replica of that kind of sparkle that makes the Stratocaster single coil work.